Sequences and series test preparation. Let us enjoy the journey of learning. Let me also thank all my viewers and subscribers for sharing some beautiful questions. This question comes from one of my students who wants to prepare for sequences and series chapter. The problem here is Anil purchases food for his dog in large bags and feeds the same amount every day. The amount of dog food left in the bag at the end of each day can be modeled by an arithmetic sequence. On 1st of January, Anil opened a new bag of dog food and fed his dog. By the end of the third day, there were 115.5 cups of dog food remaining in the bag, and at the end of the eighth day, there were 108 cups of dog food remaining in the bag. Related to this, we have three questions. First, find the number of cups of dog food fed to the dog per day. Find the number of cups of dog food remaining in the bag at the end of the first day. And then calculate the number of days that Anil can feed his dog with one bag of food. So, whenever a word problem is there, we need to understand clearly. So, in this video, what I'm going to do is highlight the key parts and then we'll begin to solve the problem. So, once again, when we read this question, we realize that it has been modeled by an arithmetic sequence. Now, what does that mean? That really means that a sequence which is kind of A plus D, you're increasing by the same amount every time, right? So A plus 2D and so on. That is the arithmetic sequence. On first day, Anil opened a new bag of dog food and fed his dog. By the end of the third day, there were 115.5 cups remaining. Now, these are also called terms. We normally will say this is term number 1, this is term number 2, term number 3, and so on. Now, here, term number 3 is given to us at the end of the third day. So, let's write down what is our term number 3, which is 115.5. So, we are talking about the dog food remaining at the end of the day, right? Not at the beginning of the day. Correct. Further, it says that the food remaining in the bag at the end of the eighth day were 108. So that becomes T8, term number 8, right? Is 108. And now, if you look into these parts, the first part is find the number of cups of dog food fed to the dog per day. That means every day it is decreasing by what? So, one thing we have to find is D in this particular question, correct? Which is D, right? Difference. Part B is find the number of cups of dog food remaining in the bag at the end of the first day. So we have to find the value of A, right? And then the third part is calculate the number of days that Anil can feed his dog with one bag of food, right? So at the end, the term number will be 0, right? So we have to look for the last term, which will be N. And at that time, we know that food remaining is 0. So these are the critical things which we need to consider to solve the problem. So we have kind of analyzed the whole situation. And what we see here is it is the term number which we will be working with. And so a formula for term number will also help at this particular stage. So let me give you that formula. The term number Tn is basically equal to initial first day amount left, right? Plus n is the number of days it will last, right? Times n minus 1 times d, which is being fed every day. Makes sense, right? So that should help you to answer this question completely. I hope it's making sense, right? So now let's take up the solution one by one. I hope the concept is clear. So that was the first part. Most of you can definitely get the solution now, right? So as we said, the formula for the general term Tn is a plus n minus 1 times d. And what we are given is T1, T3 is given to us, right? T3 is end of the third day is 115.5. And we are given T8. At the end of the eighth day, it is 108 cups. So what I've done here on the next page is the essential information which is required to solve is prime focus for us, right? So let's just remove the clutter and focus on what we need to work with, right? So that is what we want to work with. We are looking at an arithmetic sequence where at the end of the third day we have 115.5 cups, and at the end of the eighth day, this is the eighth day, right? Not the third. At the end of the eighth day, we have this is at the end of the eighth day, right? Correct. And that gives us the required things right there. Now, applying the formula, what do you get? Let's apply the formula to third day. So n is 3. So we get a plus 3 minus 1 into d, right? In this case, we get a plus 8 minus 1 into d. Further, you could write this as a plus 2d, and that gives you a plus 7d. Makes sense. So we have two equations. Let's call them as equation 1 and equation 2. So when I say equation 1, I mean to say the value 115.5 and simplified expression a plus 2d, right? So that forms my equation. Now we need to find the number of cups of dog food fed per day. So we have to find d value, right? That means we need to eliminate a. Perfect. So let's eliminate a. So what we are going to do? From equation 2, we are going to subtract equation 1. That is what we are going to do. So if I do that, I get what? We get, let's do it here. We get 100 and from 2 we are taking away 1. So we get 108, right? Minus 115.5 equals to a and a cancel 70 minus 2. Makes sense, right? That's what we get. And now you can subtract both sides simplified, right? So we have 108 minus 115.5. Okay, and that gives you in decimal minus 7.5. And on the right side, 7 minus 2 gives me 5, and D is the daily consumption in this case, right? So from here, we can find the value of daily consumption D, and that is a negative, means it signifies it decreases, right? So we are dividing minus 7.5 by 5, and that gives you 1.5. Makes sense, right? I will write minus 1.5. Correct. So now find the number of cups of dog food fed per day. So clearly, the number of cups fed per day, it cannot be a negative value, right? Negative only signifies that the amount is decreasing, but the number of cups fed is 1.5. Is that clear to you? Correct. So we got this value of A. Perfect. So let's continue and answer part B. So I hope the concept is clear, right? Well, in case you want to learn and understand concepts better, you can always contact me on the given email address. We have fast track programs which can help you catch on with the concepts very fast. Great. So let's continue with this concept and take part B. So, in addition to the information given to us, we also found the value of D as minus 1.5 cups, correct? Means it is decreasing by 1.5 cup every day. Okay. Now, part B is find the number of cups of dog food remaining in the bag at the end of the first day. So, we have to now find the value of A, right? So, we can take up one of those equations which we had to begin with. We just wrote that the nth term is A plus n minus 1 into D. I'm just rewriting. So, we'll use the information. This was the 8th day, right? We are going to use the information of the third day, and we had 115.5 cups, right? So we'll use this information. So T3 we know is A plus 2D, right? And T3 is 115.5. A we need to find, and D we know is minus 1.5. Makes sense, right? So you see, from our equation number one, right? That was our equation number one, right? Refer equation number one, correct? Perfect. So we need to find the value of A. It is a matter of rearranging the equation and solving. So let's rewrite this as 115.5 equals to A minus 3, right? So 2 times 1.5. And now we'll find the value of A by adding 3 to the left side. So we can rewrite this as A equals to 115.5 plus 3. So we get the value of A as 118.5, right? You could write 3.0. So now we know that the value of A is 118.5. So at the end of the day, first day, 118.5 cups remain. That becomes a unit. Is that clear to you, right? Perfect. So with that information, let's move on to part C. Now in part C, what we have done here is we have found the value of D earlier as minus 1.5, and also now we found the value of A, which is 118.5. Right? Correct. Now it says calculate the number of days that Anil can feed his dog with one bag of food. So again, we'll go with the general formula, which is Tn equals to A plus n minus 1 into D. So in this case, Tn should be 0, right? Because if you are feeding everything, then nothing is left at the end of the nth day. Right? Perfect. So we know all this, and now let's substitute these values. So at the end, 0 amount will be left. Everything has been fed. A is 118.5 plus n minus 1 into minus 1.5. So let's open the brackets. We got 118.5 minus times n will give me minus 1.5n, and that becomes plus 1.5. Makes sense, correct? So we'll take 1.5n to the left side, negative becomes positive. So 1.5n equals to 118.5 plus 1.5. Correct. So let's now simplify this. So we have 1.5n equals to, when you add this, you get 120, right? And so the value of n is 120 divided by 1.5. So n is equal to, you can divide, right? So 120 divided by 1.5 should give you 80. So calculate the number of days that Anil can feed his dog one bag of food, so 80 days. So for one bag, you can feed for 80 days. Now, in addition to this, we started this question with the food being fed on 1st of January, right? So we began with the bag is opened on 1st of January. So I would like you to Answer the last part and add one more component to this, and that is calculate the number of days that Anil can feed his dog with one bag of food. Find date so that we can plan when to get the next bag. You get the whole idea, right? So for 80 days, we can feed from this bag. So the 81st day, at least, we should have it, right? So better to get it on the 80th day. So it helps you to plan the activity so that there's always some food. Perfect. So I hope it makes sense. It's a great example, real life application, and I hope you appreciate and understand how it can be understood, the question itself, and solved. Feel free to write your comment, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your valuable time and all the best.